Imagine trying to work at a desk that is cluttered, that it has stack of papers, sticky notes all over, unopened mail, or things that you meant to file. You can still sit down and work, you can still function, but it just doesn't feel right. It's crowded, it's busy, you keep shifting things around, adjusting, reorganizing, and even when you finish one task, the desk still feels crowded. It feels heavy. That's what's happening with your mind. So say this is the brain. And this is a stack of papers, things that we need to file, the sticky notes, unopened mail, this, that, the other thing. All of those things are taking up the space, not just in your desk, but in your mind. There is too much lingering in your mind and your attention is too full. So today we're gonna unpack that. A lot of people think that falling behind means that they're not fast enough, they're not motivated, or they just don't work hard enough. But what if the problem is not effort? What if the problem is about the unfinished stuff that we carry around in our mind? This is our brain. And that's the stuff we carry around, the unfinished stuff we carry around. And when I say clutter, I don't mean thoughts. We all have thoughts. I mean the unfinished things. That email that we read but we didn't respond to. That decision that we said we'd think about. That conversation that ended awkwardly. That form that we meant to download but we forgot about. Or that thing that we keep meaning to organize. None of these are dramatic, but each one stays open and the mind does not forget it. They turn into things that the mind keeps circling back to. Oh, I need to send that email. I need to file that. I need to download this. Oh, I need to talk to so-and-so. I need to schedule this appointment. I need to, I forgot to do this. So these are open loops in our brain because they are incomplete. They're pending. And open loops occupy space and energy. The brain has something called working memory. Let's represent this working memory as that. Now, if you're a brain person, like a neuro person, this is not at scale. This is just my own representation of the brain and the working memory space that we have. Okay, so think of the working memory as limited space to allocate active thoughts. For example, we have our phone, right? And then we have all these apps open. We never close the apps. We just open apps and use them. Open, more. What's gonna happen? It's just gonna use phone resources and it's gonna slow it down and it's not gonna work properly, right? Same with the computer. For example, you have your web browser open and then you open like all these tabs. I used this example in a different video. You have all these tabs open. In your computer, it's gonna be okay, but then it's gonna begin to drag and it's just gonna not work properly until you can't do anything, right? So the same thing happens here. We're using up all these brain resources. They take up space. They're registered or pending by our nervous system. Our nervous system is unable to relax because it keeps them active in the background. Even if we're not consciously aware of them, they're still active in the background using up our resources. Because this working memory space can only hold a limited number of active items at once. When too many of them are open, then our mind is full. Because the mind keeps trying to track everything. And that tracking creates pressure. So it keeps tracking. And this tracking uses energy. We can't function properly. We have to read things more than once, we forget small details, and then we feel pressure that we can explain. Eventually, this translates into a feeling of falling behind. Even though nothing urgent is really happening. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever had a day where you completed a bunch of tasks, you ran a bunch of errands, all the bills are paid, everything seems okay externally, yet you have that feeling that you're just falling behind? Now, that feeling doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. It just means that there's too much going on up there. There's just too much stuff in your mind, using up all your resources. Now, our nervous system prefers completion. So the nervous system prefers completion. Completion signals safety. On the other hand, if our nervous system senses that there's something pending, unfinished, this signals uncertainty. Incomplete signals uncertainty. And the brain doesn't love uncertainty. The brain doesn't love uncertainty. It's a sad brain. When something is unfinished, it stays active in the background. Even if we're not consciously aware of it, it is registered as pending and it keeps being tracked. Your nervous system keeps tracking, checking on it. I use this example too. It's like a ledger. So everything that we do is like an entry in that ledger. So if we don't finish a task, if we don't finish something, that is marked in the ledger as pending. So things don't balance out. Things don't check out until they are registered as complete. Because even if we're not actively thinking about them, they just sit there. Like the papers in the desk, even if we don't touch them, we still know they're there. They still affect our productivity. Because even though we're not attending to them, we're not paying attention to them, they're there. And we know this. So they are active in the background. Now imagine that happening internally. Every unfinished thing is marked as pending. And then multiply that by 12 micro decisions, 6 emails that we didn't respond to, 3 conversations that we have yet to have, or 5 tasks that we mean to complete. That's background activity, and our nervous system is not able to relax, and that drains our energy. Now, say we need to make a dentist appointment, or we need to reply to a text message. We keep thinking that we want to make a change, or we haven't decided, we need to get back to somebody about a commitment, an event that we've been invited to, or we need to clean the drawer. All these items are pending. None of them are emergencies, but each one becomes an item that our mind keeps circling back to, checking the status on so you can close that ledger entry. When there's enough of those, our mind is full, and then we can't help but feel like we're falling behind. Now, this is where people get confused, especially people who handle a lot. They assume that the answer is to push harder, organize better, work faster. They assume that's what they need to do. But that's why productivity hacks don't solve the problem. We can plan better, we can optimize things, we can allocate better time for things. But if we don't resolve unfinished things, we still feel crowded inside. Say there's this other person. Which of these two people you think can have better focus, better attention? more presence, more clarity. Somebody that has a single focus, well, maybe a couple, because we usually have more than just one thing, but let's just say a couple things. So this person obviously has more space, which will yield for more clarity, make better choices, take action, move forward. This person, there's just so much going on. They don't have the space. They don't have the mental capacity. They don't have the clarity to begin to make a decision so that they can take action. Therefore, they feel delay, and then they feel like they're falling behind. We feel behind not because we're doing things wrong or because we're failing. We feel behind because our attention is fragmented. Which of these two people you think has fragmented attention? This person or that person? I say this person, right? Fragmented attention lowers clarity. Lower clarity delays decision. Reduced action feels like delays, and delays feel like falling behind. This is not a personal weakness. It's not about who we are. It's just that the mind is full and we don't have space to think. Like the computer that doesn't have space to process with all those tabs open, right? Or the phone that just can't do what it needs to do because all these apps are open. When we don't have the space to think, everything feels heavier. So this is not about motivation, it's about mental space. Now let's make this simple. Think of one small unfinished thing, just one pending item. Not the biggest or the scariest one, just a small one, just a small pending item. Now choose one of these three. Close it, schedule it, or delete it. Choose one pending, unfinished thing, just a small thing, and then pick one of these. Close it, schedule it, or delete it. What does this mean? To close it means to just complete it. If it's going to take you 5 minutes, just get it done. Reply to that email, set that appointment, or schedule it. What does that mean? If you cannot attend to it, but it's something that you choose to do, then say, okay, I'm going to take care of this weekend, and just set aside some time in your calendar to attend to it. It's no longer unfinished. Even though you haven't done it, you haven't completed it, it's not unfinished anymore. It's not pending anymore because you have addressed it. Or delete it. That means if you don't intend to do it, then you say, I'm not going to do that anymore. Forget about it. Let it go. So taking a small action will help you clear that space, close the loops. And even if it's just 3 of those items, 3 small tasks, you will notice the difference. You will have that much more space available. You will feel lighter because completion restores space to think clearly. And just by taking one of these 3 steps, you will begin to achieve completion, closing those small loops one at a time. If you try one of these today, you will feel relief because your nervous system will be able to relax. It will register safety because it's no longer a pending item. Now, this doesn't have to be a life-changing decision. It could be small things. Small, minute things, they will compound as we begin to close small loops. Because the brain doesn't have to hold it anymore. That is the power of resolution. This pattern shows up in people who carry a lot of responsibility. People who manage a lot of projects, who manage homes, families. You know, we don't get overwhelmed by just one big thing. We're just carrying accumulation. And accumulation is quiet, which makes it hard to notice until the mind is full and we got so much going on that it feels that we're falling behind. We actually are working with this inside my community in a very simple way. Just closing one energy loop at a time, one mental loop at a time, creating space to think clearly. Because small resolutions can help us build momentum. By taking action, feel safe. Because resolution builds momentum, and momentum reveals clarity. If that will support you, I will put the link below. Now, before you leave this video, I want to invite you to try something. Open your Notes app and name it Unfinished List. Name it Unfinished. And then list 5 things. 5 things that are pending, that are incomplete. Just list them. Just externalize them by putting them from your head into the paper. You will notice that you are able to unload some of that mental clutter that you have going on. And just notice how you feel. Watch how your body responds when your mind doesn't have to carry that alone. This simple shift will create some space. Now, there's something empowering about this, because if feeling like we're falling behind is caused by scattered attention, then catching up isn't about speed. It's about completion. That's doable. We don't need a new personality or a better daily planner. We just need fewer open loops. And we do this one at a time. That's 3. Let's do 2 more. Okay. 4. So if you've been feeling like you're doing enough, but it's never enough, consider the possibility that you're not falling behind. Your mind might just be full. You may just still be carrying unfinished stuff that you've been holding on to. And your mind may just have too many things that it keeps circling back to. Clear one thing. Create a little space to think clearly. And see how tomorrow feels different. And if you want to do that with others who are practicing the same thing, come join us. If you like my topics, I invite you to follow me. And if you enjoyed this video, I invite you to watch this one perhaps. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.